everyone, and welcome to Touchbase Thursday for December 3rd. I am sorry that I am a tad bit late here going live with all of you. Just going to give it a couple moments here for you guys to find me before I get started, and then we will begin. So if you are able to see me, please feel free to comment and say hello and let me know that you are there. Hi Beth and Patty, yay! So, and Debbie, hi ladies, and welcome to Touchbase Thursday for December 3rd. Happy to have you guys here with me. Just gonna wait a couple of minutes so all of you have a chance to find me. I'm a little late tonight. My husband made dinner and it was a little bit late getting done, so I was scarfing my food down before I got started. So anyway, we'll be starting here in just a couple of minutes. So hi Claudia and Penny and Shelby, welcome ladies. So anyway, how can it already be December? Just crazy. So first of all, I wanted to make sure that all of you knew that I talked to some of you, and most of you knew that my mother-in-law had was close to her final stage with her battle with colon cancer, and we did she did pass away early in the morning yesterday. So I have been, working through all of that, and definitely going to miss her. She did a lot of my, some of my cutting. So my friend Jen does a lot, and then my mother-in-law did some of my cutting as well. She hadn't been doing much in the last probably month or so, but definitely going to miss her. So if I've been a little bit more quiet this week with my regular postings and things, I just wanted to explain why. I was actually so looking forward to going live with you guys tonight because this is my therapy. Like this is what does it for me. And I can tell you, I know I mentioned to you guys that my friend Jen recently lost her mother as well, and she said the same thing, that Stampin kept her busy and it kept her, she did a lot of prep work and things like that. And so when we think about our Stamping Up and our card making and our crafting, it goes so much further than just making pretty things. It just kind of feeds our souls. And so I just wanted to mention that to you guys, the friendships and things that we make through this is just amazing. So anyway, other announcements that I have. Thanks everyone for your wonderful comments. Like I said, I wanted to at least mention that so that you guys would know if I was a little bit quiet. We are able to do a private funeral mass for her, so we are happy about that. But the family is huge. There's 15, my husband has 15 siblings, and spouses and grandchildren and spouses alone is close to like 100 people. So they've gotten very creative for us to be able to do a socially distanced mass. So I'm really excited about that we're able to do that for her. Okay, so other announcements that I have are, let me see here, other than we've been working through that this week, my girls found out that they're also going to be doing remote school or virtual school through Christmas break, which I'm actually kind of happy about. So they'll be home here. My big joke is that I have a coworker because Claire sits right next to me now, and I had posted a picture of the new countertop that my husband did, and Claire now moved next to me because she said she wants to be around people. She said, I need people. So I call her my coworker because I sit there as well. I'm working from home. So I find myself not doing my hair as much. So I apologize, you guys. I threw my hair up this morning and I didn't have time to do anything more with it. So you're getting me just the way I am here. So that's pretty much all in the way of announcements. Don't have a lot other than we were working through that. And then Jen returned back from being with her mom and her dad last week. So it's kind of been nice to have her back with me and to talk with and all that great stuff. So anyway, you guys know my routine. Exactly, Karen. She's not in any pain anymore because the last little bit near the end, it wasn't good. But you guys know the routine. If you share my video, you get entered into my drawing. And so I have 2 prizes up for grabs from last week if you shared. So what I do is make sure you comment shared if you share my video, because I don't always see all of the shares if your settings are set up where I can't see that you've shared it. So just comment shared. I go based off of the comments. But I have this is from 2 weeks ago. Remember, I didn't do a Facebook Live last week because of Thanksgiving, but I did that virtual party instead. And the winners of my virtual party were announced and your prizes are going out in the mail tomorrow. They are getting packaged up tonight. But the winners of the 2 items from 2 weeks ago was the champagne rhinestones and the adhesive back sequins. The champagne rhinestones is Pat Schneeberger. So congratulations to Pat. And thank you, Pat, for sharing. And I do have your address, Pat, so we are good. And the winner of the adhesive back snowflakes is Penny. And Penny, I'm going to say your name wrong on purpose. Penny Oram. It's actually Penny Orm. But I didn't know that for a very long time, so I'm going to keep calling her Oram. So anyway, congratulations to Penny. That's a little private joke with Penny and I, so I couldn't help. Congratulations, Penny and Pat. So up for grabs for sharing my video this week is all the trimmings embellishments and the 2022 in color embellishments. Okay, I found that it's much easier for me to send flat prizes because the shipping is a lot less than if I send like big bolts of ribbons and things. So you might be seeing me do these kinds of things more often. That shipping, I'm telling you guys, like for me to ship like a bolt of ribbon if somebody wins the ribbon and a card is like $3.80 each, where I can do the flat embellishments with a card for like $1 something. So big difference. So that's kind of what I've been doing more of. So I just wanted to make sure you guys, I mean, the value of the prizes are still there, right? It's just that they're going to be flat and not the great big ribbons and things. Okay, a few more announcements before I show you guys my cards for tonight. And I'm really excited about these cards. So let me start by thanking Denise Walton. And I don't know if Denise is here watching, but there are times I struggle with what to share with you guys, especially right now as we're getting kind of off of an old catalog or off the holiday catalog, and we're waiting for that new one to come. And Denise always gives me ideas, and she actually gave me the idea of the chalkboard technique. And so I'm here to tell you guys, if there are things that you want me to do or you want me to showcase, please let me know, because I would be more than happy to show you guys different things with that. So, oh, I'm fading in and out. It's because I didn't plug in my microphone. Just a second, Karen. Let me get that plugged in. I'm going to make Jen come over, and so that end right there gets plugged in right here. Hang on to this right here, and then just plug that in. So we're getting plugged in, and then I won't go in and out anymore. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Karen. I forgot to plug that in. Okay. Now you guys should be able to hear me better. So sorry about that. But welcome to Pam and Debbie and another Pam. Welcome, everyone. So forgot what I was saying now, where I was at with everything. Oh, so I wanted to thank Denise for that. So if there's ever anything you guys want to see or want me to showcase, please let me know. My whole goal with my Touchbase Thursday Facebook Lives is to teach you guys things, and I'm glad I need to remember to do that. But my whole goal is to teach you guys tips and tricks and techniques and things and how to use different bundles. And so I want it to be worth your guys' time. I want you to keep coming back and watching me. So please let me know if there's ever anything that I can do for you to be able to showcase. So thank you, Denise, for the idea. I will tell you that next week I will be showcasing an unboxing of my new catalog stuff. So before I transition the camera down, I do want to talk to you a little bit about Celebration and about different things I have coming up. So right now I've got open classes for the Merry Moose cards. I've got the Snow Wonder card class open and my Gnome card class. I've got extra kits of my Gnome cards. And so those are open. I've got 2 of the banner kits left, and I've got the a couple other of the framed arts, which I'll talk about the framed art here in a little bit. And then for Celebration, so most of you know that Celebration starts right after the holidays. So Celebration's where you get a free item if you spend $50, and so that will begin January 5th. But this year's Celebration is only going to be for 2 months. It'll end February 28th, But we have a celebration round 2 in the summer. So in June and or July and August, we'll have another celebration, which I'm really looking forward to. There's also a really great join promotion during that time. So if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up! To either be a happy shopper and get your products at a discount, or to just because you love our stuff and you buy a lot and you want to, again, have a discount, the product, what they're offering is 5 free packs of 6x6 designer series paper in the different color families like subtles and regals, and it's paper that you cannot purchase in the catalog, so it's kind of exclusive just for that. So I'm glad you guys, thank you for telling me about my microphone. I always forget to plug that in, and I know it really helps with my sound quality when I'm talking to you guys here. And then I also wanted to let you guys know that my scrapbook club, if you need more information about my scrapbook club, I had a couple of you ask me, so I thought I'd mention it here, that I do a scrapbook club where you get scrapbook layouts sent to you in the mail, and they're free with an order each month. It's a 10-month commitment. So if you want more information on my scrapbook club or my card club, it's both the same thing. They're order based each month, and you get a kit selection in the mail. Let me know. I have lots of options and things for you to pick from. So with that, I am going to, I think that was all of my stuff. I'm going to transition my stamp area down to my 3 cards that I'm going to showcase tonight. And yes, I only did 3. I struggled, but they're going to take me a little bit of time to share with you and to show you. And so I wanted to make sure that I took the time to really do that, to share with you the different ways you can do this great technique. It is called the Chalkboard Technique. So with that, I'm going to transition my camera down, and we will get started here in just a couple minutes. Okay. So let me move my camera over here and get this all transitioned down. You're going to get a sneak peek of my cards. Ready, you guys? Check those out. So you're going to learn how to do some awesome things with what we call the chalk technique. Let me make sure I get this nice and tight. So there's your quick little sneak peek of the cards. Aren't they pretty? Okay. And so with that, let me get started. And then I dropped the heat embossing gun. That's okay. All right. Bear with me here, guys. Okay. So before I start with that, I want to show you guys a class that I have open right now. And it is the Freezing Friends class, and it's actually the last class that my mother-in-law cut for me. But this is a card class that I currently have open that I haven't really promoted a lot on Facebook yet, so I will be. But these are cute little cards geared towards you know, the more of a winter theme than it is Christmas themed. So I wanted to make sure you guys saw those. And I'm excited about that class. I'll be actually keeping one of those kits for me to do because of the whole, you know, it's just awesome. Okay, so with that, let me see which one we're going to start with. How about we start with the candy cane one? Okay, so make sure you guys can all see this okay. We're going to start with this card. Okay, let me zoom in just a smudge. Okay. So isn't that gorgeous? So this is called the Chalkboard Technique, and we are going to, I'm going to show you how to do this. Now there's a couple different ways in which you can do the chalkboard technique itself. So you could do, oh Karen, I'm sure tomorrow will be a different story, but tonight, yes, I'm managing just fine. We'll see how, it's when I get around other people that I will probably not be the greatest, but like I said, this is, I had to do this. Oh, my nails. Yes, I have plaid on my nails, and yeah, thank you, Philomena. So when you do the chalkboard technique, you want a piece of basic black cardstock. So all of my card layers on the top are going to be done with basic black. So for this one, I used Real Red for the card base. And then I layered in there a mat of a Whisper White. So my Whisper White mat is 5 1/4 by 4, and then my black is 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so we're going to be doing some work on this one right here. And I do need to bring in my mat. So just a second here. Bring this in. So when you do the chalkboard technique, there's just a couple different things you can do. You can do it with craft white ink, or you could do it with heat embossing. And I'm going to be showing you both techniques tonight. Now the first one that I'm going to be doing is Whisper White ink. Now in our catalog, I actually used an older Whisper White ink pad, but I do have the current one that we offer to kind of show you. When you buy the Whisper White craft ink, the craft ink is a little bit of a different pigment than our normal inks. So this is more of a pasty white, and when you stamp with it, it does leave a residue on your stamps, but you just wash it off with water and it comes right off. So when you purchase this in our catalog, it's in our annual catalog, it comes not inked, okay? So there's no ink added to this stamp set or ink pad right now. You would add it using the ink that comes with it. And then we also sell refills as well, okay? So like I said, I used an old Whisper White ink pad that I already had. And the reason why it comes uninked is because this dries out really fast. So you can see here where I re-inked this before I started using it to make my sample. So you don't want to use a lot of it. Like I said, it does dry out. It's more of a pigment ink, and they call it a craft ink. It's called craft, not classic. Our classic ink is more water-based. This is more like a pigment based, okay? So, but we are going to do some simple stamping with that. Now the stamp set that I chose to use for this card is the For Unto Us, and I chose to just stamp a lot of the sentiments from that stamp set onto this black piece. So let me do that, and I just kind of did them randomly, nothing fancy about it. And you want to make sure you get good ink coverage on this. So I'm thinking, I just made my samples a couple nights ago, and so I'm sure that my ink pad is still, but you can see it kind of really inks them up really good there. And I'm just going to do some stamping onto my, and you want to make sure you push it down, and so you get a really good stamped image there. So I'm going to stamp that one, and I'm just going to, again, kind of stagger these. I'm just making sure I ink it up really, really good. So For Unto Us, a Child is Born. Now this will dry on its own, but if you want to speed up the process, all you have to do is use your heat gun, and which is exactly what I'm going to do before I threw it on the floor on you guys. And it heats it up. When you heat it up, it dries the ink a little bit faster. You can kind of see this ink's already turning gray. That means that it's starting to dry a little bit, which is exactly what you want it to do. So let me find one more here. So this can be a little bit messy, but it's a lot faster to stamp with than to do the heat embossing. So let me stamp one more here. Oh, maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll do part of that one. Again, depends on how much you want on it. Oh, we'll do it here. And let me bring in this little star. So I have a little star. We'll do that there. One up here, one down there. Okay, so we're going to call that good. I'm going to actually leave this ink open. Oh, do you like my mat? This is actually the new In Color paper, the grid paper that Stampin' Up! Sells. It's, I think, $9, and I think you get like maybe 25 sheets, but I like it because of the color. And sometimes we just, I think, need a little bit of color, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat set this just so that it dries a little bit faster so that I can continue with my project for you. So I'm just going to add some heat to this, and you'll see it change to more of a gray look, and that's how you know that it's dry. Because it's the craft ink, it takes a little bit longer than when you would just use your regular ink pads. But doesn't that kind of look like it's chalk? I mean, it kind of dries this to a light gray. But I really like the technique. Okay, we're going to call that good. I hope it's dry. Hope I don't smear it. If I smear it, know that it's just because I didn't do that long enough, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a sponge. You want to add a little bit of streaks of white ink to this to make it look like it's a chalkboard that maybe is a little bit dirty in spots. So I'm just going to take a sponge into my ink, and I'm going to rub a little bit of it off onto my paper, and then in some of these empty spots, I'm going to add a little bit of white ink to it, okay? And that's just to make it look like it's kind of dirty in spots, like it didn't clean completely. You know how when you wipe down your chalkboard and if you don't, you know, get all the chalk off? This would be your old-fashioned chalkboards. I'm not even sure if they use these in schools anymore. But I like to take off a little bit of that excess because you don't want to have it be too white. But look at that. Isn't that awesome? Let me bring that in so you guys can see that really good. That's so awesome. So from there, it's just a matter of simply layering our card together. And I'm going to layer this on top of the Whisper White. And then I added some ribbon to this. And the ribbon that I used is from the Poinsettia, the sheer, the Christmas red Poinsettia. So I'm just going to, let me find my scissors here. And I'm doing my little cheating method where I'm going to wrap the ribbon just around the top. My glue dots are a little cold, so they don't want to stick to my ribbon. There we go. And I'm just going to wrap this around the top here, about there. Thank you, Philomena. Yeah, I love this technique. And all three of my projects tonight are going to teach you a little bit different way in which you can accomplish it. And that was my whole goal, was to kind of show you guys different ways and different things that you can do. And I'm just going to put that on there like that. And then I'm going to put my little ribbon through here, like that, and tie this on. This, and then I like to kind of, you know, do the whole snip these at an angle to make them a little bit smaller. And then in advance, I stamped a couple of candy canes. Now these candy canes are part of the Sweetest Time bundle, and that was the bundle that I showcased in my virtual party last week. And I loved that bundle. I didn't know if I would until I played with it, and then I fell in love with it. Put a little glue dot there, and I'm just going to kind of hook this one on to kind of bring those two together. And then these are going to go on with some dimensionals. And my mini dimensionals that I've been not having forever are finally here, but I haven't unpacked my boxes yet. So I hate unpacking boxes and sorting everything. Just not, I'd rather be designing and not having to do that. So I put it off until I absolutely have to. I know I'm bad. So I'm just going to put my little candy canes on there. And then I cut out a couple of holly leaves as well with that bundle. And I'm just going to glue dot those two together like so. Like that. And then I'm going to glue dot those to under my candy cane. Like this. And then top it off with the little berries. Another glue dot right there like that. And there you have a really cool technique. Now, I don't think I stamped as much on this one as I did on my sample, but you kind of get the gist of it. You could stamp as lot or as little as you wanted. And when that craft ink dries, it dries a little bit more lighter colored than when it's stamped on, but it's still so sweet. Now, my ordering promotion that I'm offering through Sunday night is anybody who puts in a minimum $30 order, you will receive my 3 cards tonight for free, and they'll be finished cards sent to you already done. So I want to make sure you guys know that. And ordering is at kimsbasementbunch.com, and there's an ordering link right there, or you can message me and I'd be happy to put the order in for you as well. Okay, so there is card number 1. So the next card I'm going to share with you is done, again, the Chalkboard Technique, but this one is done using Whisper white embossing powder. So let me show you the difference here. You can see how bright and vivid this is, and this one is not quite as vivid. Do you see the different look that you get? So again, it's a different way to accomplish the same thing. So it's kind of a personal preference as to which one you prefer to do. But isn't this one gorgeous? And of course I had to do a pink one. Okay, So let me get the supplies for that, and we will make that card. Okay, so for that one, I used Blushing Bride as my card base. And then the only matte that I put on this one, thanks you guys, I'm glad that you liked it, is the black, okay? But before we do that, we're going to do some heat embossing. And I used for this one, let me find my stamp set. For this one, I used the Poinsettia petals, okay? And I used the Poinsettia, let me get that off there. I used the Poinsettia stamp itself. And I used Versamark ink. So this one we're going to do some heat embossing. So if you haven't heat embossed before, this is an awesome technique. Now the first thing you want to do before you heat emboss is you want to use an embossing buddy. Now Stampin' Up! Did discontinue this, but a Swiffer wipe works the same way. It just removes any of the static from the embossed area where you're going to be embossing. And that way it doesn't have, you don't have powder stick where you don't want it. And then you're just going to, I stamped, oh, before I do them, sorry, one step before I start to heat emboss. So on this one, I actually added some lines around it to make it look like it was an actual chalkboard. And so for that, let me actually set this here so you guys can see that and get a good look at that. I just used a simple ruler, and I used the chalk marker that Stampin' Up! Sells. And again, some people may not even know that a chalk marker exists because it's something that we don't use and talk about a lot. But all I did, and this I just simply eyeballed. I eyeballed about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and I just took my chalk marker and I just went down and made a line, okay? And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to do that all the way around, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of a more chalk look to it, I think, if that's a word. But I kind of liked the look of that. It made it look more like a chalkboard. So again, I'm just doing about 1/4 of an inch. Now, all of these products that I'm showcasing tonight, the chalk marker and the craft ink, they are all in the coloring tool section of our annual catalog. And it's a section that I probably sometimes should pay more attention to. Sometimes I think we get so excited about new product and about bundles that we forget about some of these awesome other things that we can do in our card making. So there you have the little look there of going around the edges. Okay, so now I'll move that out of the way, and now I will do some stamping. So let me bring that back in here, and using the Versamark, I'm going to just stamp this a couple times, a little bit on and a little bit off onto the cardstock. Did 2 of them. Okay, and then you can kind of see them outlined there with the Versamark ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my my little tray. Now Stampin' Up! Does not sell these trays anymore, unfortunately, but you can get them at other stores as well. I wish we still had them. And all I'm doing is dumping some of the Whisper White embossing powder on that. And you want to make sure you cover it really good. And then you're just going to tap off the excess. Okay, I have a little bit there where I don't want it. You can blow on it. You can also, I like to kind of tap pretty aggressively. There we go. Okay, so I've got my powder on there. Now you don't want to touch that because you'll just smear it if you did. You want to take the heat embossing tool, and you want to heat set that, and what it's going to do is it'll melt that. So those of you who have never embossed before, here's your embossing lesson because it's so fun. So I'm going to bring that in so you can kind of see that, but it will turn from like a powder look to like a plastic look right before your eyes. And it makes it very, very vivid and white. Takes a minute for the gun to get up to the right temperature to start. There it goes. And you want to make sure you get all the area really good because you don't want to accidentally leave any of it. I think I'm almost there. And then what you can do to make sure that you haven't forgotten any area is you can kind of hold it at an angle and look at it. And if you can see, don't see a shiny spot, you know that you didn't do it in that area. But I think it looks pretty good. Okay. And then, oh, I should have also stamped my greeting. So let me find my greeting here. And I also did that with Versamark. Should have done it all at the same time, but that's okay. You'll get to see me heat emboss a second time. So this greeting is also from the Poinsettia bundle, and I'm just going to stamp this down here in the bottom. May magic and wonder bloom this holiday is what it says. I love the Poinsettia one too. Definitely one of my favorites. And then let me bring this back in. And so for this, I'm just going to pull up some of that embossing powder already in my tray. Tap off the excess. Really get it tapped off. There we go. And we're going to heat emboss that. So in here you can actually tell by comparing that that's kind of more of a dull white than that because I didn't heat set it yet. So I'm going to heat set it. Oh yeah, it would be really pretty with the new heart set. Yes, I agree. I agree, Rhonda. Okay, I think we're almost done. Okay, there we go. Then, let me make sure I don't make a mess of my embossing powder. I do not want to drop that on the floor because that would be a mess to clean up. So now I'm going to do the exact same technique that I did before, where I'm going to bring in the craft white ink and I'm going to make it look a little bit dirty like it's an actual chalkboard. Again, I feel that that just kind of really sets this off. And I'm going to actually turn this over because I want to show you guys, if I did not take a little bit of the excess off, see how it makes it really, really, really white? Right there is why I do the excess off first. And I'm just barely going into this ink. But I'm rubbing off the excess and then I'm rubbing it on here to make it look dirty so that I don't have lots of that white ink on there. Okay? So just thought I would demonstrate that. And I'm just going to kind of go in some of these spots. And on this one, I'm going to actually kind of add a little bit down here because I got a little bit of the white embossing powder down there. So it kind of bleeds in. And yeah, look. See how it just kind of gives you that nice dirty chalkboard look? And then from there, this card is just a matter of layering everything together. So I'm going to adhere this down to my card. So this mat is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm just going to adhere this down. And then I'm going to show you something really cool that I did with this poinsettia. So this poinsettia I did in the also the Blushing Bride. And I kind of used my fingernail and I kind of creased each one of these little petals. Just a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth. And then I used the Wink of Stella. So if you have not used the Wink of Stella yet, or you don't know what Wink of Stella is, after tonight, I can guarantee you will be adding it to your next order because the Wink of Stella is simply amazing. So let me kind of fold this in a little bit. And so what I did to kind of bring this to life just a little is I took the Wink of Stella. So this is the Wink of Stella. It's like a glitter pen. And all I did was kind of go in these lines of the poinsettia and added just a little bit of glitter. And I'll show you when I get this one done. I'll bring it close into my camera so that you can see kind of what it does to... Now, normally I probably would have done this before I did my creasing, but I didn't want to have to sit and wait for it to dry. So that's why I did it sooner. So that way I can keep going with my video for you guys tonight. But let me finish this one. And I'll bring it in and you can see what that just adds, just enough to that to kind of make it just come to life, doesn't it? So I'm going to finish these real quick. I promise I won't be too long. I'll do these a little bit faster. But again, it just adds enough. Yeah, so see, Cindy loves Wink of Stella. Donna loves Wink of Stella. Yeah, Wink of Stella is just your friend. I think it's only like $8 too. I don't think it's very expensive. And it lasts a really long time. I have found that I have not had to buy any of these. I probably own 2 or 3 of them that are open at a time. And I haven't had to buy anything or any of them in quite some time because they just last forever. Okay, and then I'm going to layer these together with some glue dots. So I just put a glue dot on the back of this one. I'm going to layer that like that. And then I've got to get this tail of my glue dots ripped off. It sure does, Carol. Wink of Stella just adds a nice touch to things. When you just want to add a little something without too much, I always grab my Wink of Stella pen. It's just is a nice little touch. But you can see what that did to that poinsettia. It gave it a little bit of volume, a little bit of depth without me having to do too much work to it. And then I adhered this onto my card using some dimensionals. So let me bring in my dimensionals. Whoops. I'm going to put a couple on here. And pull those off. Put that on there like that. And then I topped it off with one of the beaded pearls. The beaded pearls are part of the poinsettia bundle as well. Love those. They're so pretty and they just look so perfect on these cards when you do the poinsettias. Adding a glue dot, and I'm going to put that right in the center. And there you have a beautiful card. And it's kind of like a non-traditional Christmas card, but I love how that one turned out. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let me bring these two in again side by side so you can kind of see the difference between those two techniques of doing the chalk technique. So you can see that with the embossing powder, you get more of a vivid white look, and then with the craft ink, it's more of a muted look. Okay, both beautiful, right? And look how that chalk pen just, this one was my old one until my new one came in, but this chalk pen is just perfect on that black. Now what you could also use this chalk pen for is, let's say if you had a black card or a card that had a black base, you could write a little note with this and not have to put an insert on the inside, because you'd be able to write and people would be able to see it because you're writing in white. All right, what do you guys think so far? Isn't that awesome? Okay, who's ready for my last card? You guys ready? This one I think is going to be the showstopper. When you guys see what I've done on this one, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Okay, so here it comes. Here it comes. Ready? Check out that one. I love it. Yes, it's pink. But anyway, I love this card. And wait till you see how I did this one. This one is so simple. When you see it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? So for this one, I chose to use the Magenta Madness cardstock. Now, I love pink, but I'm here to tell you that I have been struggling with how to use the Magenta cardstock because I find it to be really, really bright. Thank you, Philomena and Lori and Carol. I'm glad you guys like my cards. You can thank Denise. So Denise, thank you, because she gave me the topic and I just ran with it. And for me, it's kind of nice to revisit some of these old favorites this is kind of some of the stuff that I learned in my first couple years of being a demonstrator. So it's nice to kind of go back and revisit them. Okay, but this one's probably my favorite, and I really liked the way I was able to use that magenta cardstock, because sometimes I find that magenta to be a hard color to use, especially for a card base. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and for that one I used the Peony, the Prized Peony stamp set. So let me grab that one. It kind of flew away on me when I was grabbing stuff. So it is this one right here, okay? And I used the Great Big Flower, and I heat embossed that with some white embossing powder. So we are going to heat emboss again. I'm just going to run my little thing through that. And oh, thank you, Luann. You guys are so awesome. I'm so glad that you guys like my projects. I was kind of like, do I need to make more? And I'm thinking, oh, 3's probably enough. And I'm glad I kind of stuck with 3. So Kay, you were right. I ran it past my friend Kay that I'm like, I wonder if 3 is going to be enough. She's like, oh, those are going to take you some time. You don't need to do more than 3. She was right. Right? Listen to Kay. Okay. And then I have my sentiment. I need to find it. Oh, where is my little sentiment here? Well, we're going to use a different one because I can't find the one that I did use. So we're going to make this one say, so sorry for your loss, because it's part of the stamp set as well. And I'm just going to stamp that down here in the bottom using the Versamark ink as well. So my sample said love and thanks to a dear friend. So we're going to change it up just a little bit. And again, you're not going to be able to see this until I add the white emboss powder to it. So let me bring that back in. Sorry for my arm being in the way. Okay, I love it. She says always love it. Okay, so just gonna scoop that up and use what's already in the tray. You guys see how I did that? That is slick. I learned that as well from another demonstrator. You just kind of pick it up and make sure you have it on all of the edge, and then you just grab that edge and let it slide all the way down. Especially if you're embossing like a great big area, it works perfect. Okay, so there you have that, right? Get that excess off. Okay, so I'm going to heat that up and warm that up with my heat tool. So we're going to heat emboss that. Oh, Patty, I'm glad that you like my cards. Yeah, I really liked them too. This one's probably my favorite because it's pink, and I really liked what I came up with. So when I was making this card, my goal was just to leave it white, and then I got an idea. As I was heat embossing this, it was a night that I think Kay was actually down here helping me with another project, and I said, what if I color this flower with my Stampin' blends? And she said, you can try it, see what it does. And that is exactly what I did, and you're going to see here in a minute what it does. So our Stampin' blends, remember that our blends are alcohol based. So they're similar to a Sharpie marker, right? Whoops, I got a little bit down there yet. Okay, I wanted to wait and tell you the rest. So make sure you guys can hear me maybe without that thing going. So my goal was to just do this and leave it like that and make another card with it and just kind of showcase another one. But then I had an idea about coloring this with my Stampin' blends and whether or not that would work. So I went and reached for my my blends that are the Magenta blends, and then I went ahead and went with the, since those are kind of nice and bright, the Granny Apple Green. And I chose to use the dark of both. Because this is black cardstock, you can easily, whoops, let me get the right end. You can easily color this white embossing powder, and you don't really have to stay in the lines too much because you're not going to see the color between it because it's black. So it just kind of absorbs the color. And all I did was color all of this literally with my blends. That easy. Is that not the coolest thing ever? And because they are a alcohol-based pen, it does not smear. It dries completely. Now, if you were to use our regular markers, it would not dry. You would have a mess, a blurry mess. It would be all over your fingers. But because they're alcohol-based, this is coloring really nice, really fast. I'm just coloring on top of it. Isn't that a neat tip? I know. Who knew that that would work until I tried it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this takes the chalkboard technique to a completely different level. So you can kind of just go over top of the white where you may have missed. Isn't that just the slickest thing ever? And then I did the same thing with the dark, whoops, got that right in my ink, with the dark magenta, and same thing, just start coloring. And you can kind of go over top of the area. You don't have to worry about going outside the lines. You can see I went outside the line and you can't even see it. Isn't that just awesome? Thank you, Philomena. This was so fun to do. You know, I didn't know if it was going to work. It was a trial and error. And as I got coloring, you can ask Kay, I got pretty excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait till you see this. And I wouldn't let her look at it till I had it all colored. So, and I'm going to sit here and color it with you guys because this is so, so fun to do. So you just color the embossing, the white embossing powder. So cool. So now with this, I still did the whole technique that you would normally do, where I did the chalk, you know, the sponging, because I wanted that look as well. But I'm just going to show you guys how quick it is to do this, because you don't have to overthink it. You just color it. Look at that. So simple. I mean, you want to kind of stay in the lines a little bit. I guess force a habit for me to want to stay in the lines, even though I don't have to. It's kind of force a habit. Isn't that awesome? I'm so glad you guys like this. Like I said, it excited me as well. Because this is a neat wow. People are going to be like, how did you do that? And it's so, to me, it's a neat talking point because it's so unique that, you know, leave it to me to come up with. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's come up with this, though. I'm sure others have. But it was a huge aha, cool moment for me. I know. Isn't that just beautiful, you guys? Look at that. Look at that. And then I chose to leave the sentiment just white. I didn't color that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the whole sponging technique thing again. So let me pull this over so you guys can see. Again, I'm just going in the corner, taking some of the excess off, and going to make my little black a little bit dirty so it looks like it's a chalkboard. And you can add a lot or a little, depending on what you want this to look like. And I'm even going to do a little bit down here in the middle of that. Oop, that one I got a little bit. So if you get too much on, just rub it really good. It'll come, most of it will come off. But that's, again, why I like to kind of do the stamp off. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad you like it. And then from there, it's just a matter of simply layering together with our awesome cardstocks. I used Whisper White to kind of bring that white to life in the middle. I found that I kind of gravitated to that on the candy cane one as well, that the white just kind of really made this card pop. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. This is 5 by 3 3/4, the black is. And then I used some of the magenta ribbon, and I just wrapped this around here using my same technique that I have before. So let me find my glue dots here. So yeah, I hope that you guys get creative with that and, you know, come up with some other cards that you could do with that technique, because you could do all kinds of different flowers. Oh, you're welcome, Philomena. And that's my goal, is to teach you guys and help you become, I mean, you're all amazing stampers, but it's to teach you some creativity and different things in which you can do. So I'm glad that I accomplished that goal. And then we're just going to put this under here like this and tie that around like that. Cut those little ends off. And then this will get, that one's about the right size. And then I'm going to bring in my magenta card base. And this will just get adhered down to my magenta card base. Like so. And there you have beautiful card, simply made by coloring that with my blends. Isn't that so awesome, you guys? Oh, the sunflower would be beautiful, Cindy. Yes, sure would be. Okay, so I have something fun that we're going to do tonight. And I haven't done this before, so I know that you guys know that I give you guys, for sharing, you get prizes. But tonight, I want you guys to tell me, anybody who comments with what their favorite card is out of the 3 I showcased tonight, all of your names will go in the drawing, and somebody will get a free chalk pen. So one of you will get a free chalk pen, so you'll be able to do some of the awesome things that I've done. So you have to vote and tell me either candy cane, peony, or poinsettia. Okay, so this is your peony option. And then this was the poinsettia option. And last but not least was the candy cane one. So let the voting begin, and I'll announce a winner of that awesome pen next week as well. So again, any of you that are interested in putting in an order, a minimum order of $30, you will receive all 3 of these cards in the mail, already completed, for you to be able to simply use and send out. Just visit my website, or you can message me with your order. I'd be happy to get that in for you. Ooh, looks like Poinsettia is winning right now. Oh, a peony vote too. Love it, you guys. Love it. So anyway, thank you all so very much for joining me tonight. You have no idea how fun this was to share these great cards with you and this technique. Keep the voting coming, ladies. Know that next week will be it'll be a showcasing of some new product. So I'll be showing you some of the new product in our new January through June catalog. And those of you that have purchased from me in the last year, your catalogs will be coming in the mail. Hopefully you get them in the next week or so. And if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. So thanks, ladies, for joining me tonight. I hope that you've enjoyed these. Thank you, Denise, as you say great job to me. Thank you for the idea. And I would love to hear from more of you on things that you would like me to showcase and share with you. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye, everyone.